Hey guys, in this video we're going to tackle soloing on all blues. Uh, some of us are already able and familiar to do this, but for the majority, this is something we're still working on. And so I'm going to start from the very beginning, so you have a video that walks you through the entire approach to basic soloing on all blues. Now, all blues is a 12 measure blues, which is usually the traditional form of an American blues. However, it is in 6/4 time. In our case, the way we're learning it, it's in 6/4 time. Some people learn it in 6/8, some people learn it in 3/4, but we learn it in 6/4 time. That means there are 6 beats per measure. Okay, and every quarter note gets 1 beat. Okay, so this is a blues in the key of concert G. Okay, so we're going to be learning the G blues scale that will give us a basic introduction into soloing on this particular form. So it's concert G blues, so G blues scale. So okay, and there are 6 different pitches to the blues scale, or if you want to count the tonic that's on top, you can say 7. So for concert instruments, that would be trombone, piano, and bass. It would be your concert G blues. For alto saxophone, it will be your E blues, and for trumpets and tenor saxophones, it will be your A blues scale. Okay, so on your scale sheets, please make sure you have that in front of you. If you have not learned this particular scale, I would take the time to learn it. You can certainly go back in the video, the blues scale video that I posted earlier, and it'll walk you through on how to learn it before you actually go ahead and tackle this. Okay, but in this video, I'm actually going to show you how to use that scale to create different, what we call motifs, small ideas, using the notes in that scale to help us create our improvised solo. Okay, so motifs are these basic ideas which you're using scales that are helping you, that are derived out of the chords in the form of the solo, that help you create your improvised idea, your improvised solo. So starting off basic, I would just try to use the first 3 notes. So the first 3 notes are G, B flat, and C. Okay, so I just played it up and down. So I'm going to try to make an idea out of it. Let's see. Now I just created that idea using just the first 3 notes. So I'm going starting on the tonic, second note, back to the tonic, third note, second note, and back to the tonic. Okay, now I have the actual version of Miles did the original recording up, and I have the part where the piano player solos. It's probably the most quietest, so you can actually hear how this idea I just created fits over that. So I'm going to play that. I'm going to play that particular section of it and fit this in different various places over the form. Okay, here it goes. I'm back. back up a little bit. Okay. So they put a little interlude in between each solo. One, this is beginning of four coming up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Now I played it in various rhythms and at various points in the form. Okay, so you can always think about you always think about the notes that you're playing, the grouping of notes. So I use those 3 notes we talked about earlier, but also think about the rhythm that you're using. So I'm going to play the same idea, okay, and then I'm gonna switch up the rhythm. Doesn't sound the same, but it's the same notes and the same sequence. Okay, but the only thing that's changing is the rhythm. Okay, that's the third way we can play it. And I can vary it up as well. And do different things, still using the same notes. I'm just changing the rhythm. Okay? So let's go back. What was that? 8. I can play it up an octave. Alright, and then once I do that, I'm going to just skip it back to the beginning of that solo. But you want to be able to, one, don't just be able to play in the lower part of your horn. You want to be able to play in the full range that you're capable of playing in. So I can play all the way up there, you know. I don't expect you to, but I do expect for you to be able to create motifs in the range that you can play, so the range of the scale. So don't just play at the top of the scale. So I mean at the bottom of the scale. Also be able to play at the top of the scale. Okay, so I'm going to take the top 3 notes of that scale. That's D, F, and then the tonic on top. Okay, so I'm talking in concert, so you'll have to make the transposition. So I'm also talking in numbers. It's the top, it's degrees, it's the fifth note, 6th note, and the 7th note of the scale. So D, F, and G. Or if you're an alto, that's B, D, and E. If you're a tenor player or a trumpet player, that is E, G, and A. So and I'm taking the same idea, the same rhythm that I took with the bottom 3 degrees of the scale, and just putting it using 5, 6, and 7. So I want to play those now. And then I can I can do this around the entire scale. Getting that what is that, the fourth note in there, that chromatic. And so you can use any of these notes and apply rhythm. That's basically what improvisation is. It is your use of harmony against your use of harmony against the rhythm. That's kind of a basic introduction to what it is. You're basically using the theory, the chords and the scales in this case, to create some type of comprehensive idea, adding rhythm to it, which creates melody instantaneously. That's what improvisation is. It is melody created on the spot, and your two ingredients in that is rhythm and harmony, or scales. We use the scales, okay? So, and the use of those two together is what creates melody, because any melody is based on the chords and the scales of used in that structure. Okay, they're not just pulling any notes out of the sky. Those notes are already there, picked out of the chords. Okay, and so you do the same thing with melody. I mean, with improvisation, you're creating melody right there on the spot. So I hope this video helped you. Please go and practice this. You can look up All Blues, Miles Davis, and play with the record. Develop your ideas with the record, just like I showed you here in this video. Just start with two notes. Start with one note. Okay? Just start with. Just starting with the first note of the scale. And then add the first note and the second note together. And then just keep adding notes. Okay? All right? Happy practicing.